Well, good afternoon to the Dream Labs. I am Dr. Contrast, and we are live. And just a quick moment before I begin here, Dakota and Terrace, boy, it's great to have you guys on board again. And hopefully this, as we said on the title here today, this is going to be Judgment Day or D-Day for us, and I think it's going to be a nice way to wrap things up here. It's really funny. Like the last night I was going through some systems here and checking all the backlog sketches for this program. And I'm amazed at the number of pieces we put together. It always comes down to 4 final studies that might be approved or disapproved once we send them out. But I do thank you very much for all the input and help you've come along with it. Really has been a great asset with another set of eyeballs on this thing. And we'll see what takes place. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the thing is developed. We've got 4 to go here. I'm just going to run through them very quickly and do a little bit of sketch rendering work. And it's interesting to me that I got the comment back from the gang that just keep them nice and loose in pencil sketches. No, nothing elaborate at this stage of the game. And I think I can understand the rationale behind that. They just want to look at the overall concepts in terms of pros and cons, yays and nays, and we might get some feedback from them, I'm sure. But I think we've accomplished the mission. The one thing I was really not expecting to really hear from them was the fact that they wanted to add a handle to it. I thought for sure they'd go after some sort of a tube-like or a very handheld system like a Dremel tool of some sort, but I can understand the rationale for perhaps including a handle. It might be part of the packaging when it's all said and done. It might not be. We're not quite sure about that yet, but I think from the federal government safety standards, it's good to have that hand grip. You know, got a 2-hand piece, grip and overhead the barrel, whatever the technique is to take care of that. But I think that the diversity I think was interesting, and some of the sections we came with, and I think one of the big turning points for me, and again to thank you both Dakota and Terrace, was getting the biomimicking side of it. I think that's a different perspective on how to see certain things, how to translate that into the natural world and the product design world or the industrial world. Not an easy task to do, but I think you try to pick up some clues along the way, and I think most of these studies you'll see have those elements in it. So I'm going to run through these things very quickly here before we begin to get too chatty here about the whole thing. But again, I'm looking forward to getting this through, and I don't mean that from the sense of it's been a long haul. 8 studies, and I think it's been worthwhile to take our time to go from the initial concept of empathy and what that translation looks like, and then develop it into a further series of systems that are going to help revise very interruptive and an innovative process for hand drills. And I think the thing we've accomplished, and the good news, a quick interjection here, the good news from the team side was for a long period of time, they've been looking at ways to eliminate that heavy battery pack at the base and that big handle, the grip handle. So we had some good things happening there, but I think the innovation of that rotating head, whether it goes a full 90 north and south or can rotate all the way through, that's the kind of thing, element I think we're going to leave a lot up to chance for that staff to look at and get some feedback from them on that. So, in conclusion, I'm going to send these sketches out today. I've got a whole bunch. I've got it ready to go. Once I finish this batch, I'll put it all and get it all shipped out. And I'm sure there might be a lull of bombing, a little bit of time for them to review certain things, and I think that'll be fine. But in the interim, I've got some great things planned for the next few shows, and I'll make sure to bring up to speed at the end of the presentation here. So I'm going to begin with this stack here. Let's move these out of the way here for the time being. This is what took place. Last Wednesday, we had a whole session of some additional thumbnail sketches based on the selections we were looking at, and then we kind of refined them. So I went through a package of certain sketches, and you were very helpful to kind of pick out the elements here. So let me just get a pencil here. And I think for the element sketch number 2, this upper piece was the one that was really helpful in putting that process together. So that became the theme sketch we're about to see here in a few moments. So let me do this. Let's get that out of the way for the time being. That's element number 2. And this is what I've started here. Just got a head start on where we are with this sketch here. Save a little bit of time putting some graphics down and get the shadows in place. But again, just doing some very simple pencil sketches. But this is gesture, again, based on this study right here, number 2, up on top. The next step, final rendition of that process with the handle in place. Well, the rotating sphere that gives us flexibility to go either north and south and hopefully east and west in all 4 directions. We really kind of a neat deal to work with here. So I'm going to take a moment here and just kind of go through a real quick rendering and pencil study, and we'll see what takes place once we go through the lineup here. Let's go back in and just get some tone in here and run this right through. Nice and easy. Get this started. A little bit of core line up on top. Beef that up, take that on the bend into the shadow area here down below, and just curl that back in. Nice and easy. The side of pencil. Here's my color pencil, just to kind of get some basics in here. Get that down. Put a little bit of line strike in here to show us where we are. We get this up on top here. Put some thick to thin. Again into here. And a bit of shadow underneath this guy. A little bit of cast shadow in that thing there, just kind of get a little bit of drop at it. Go back into this one on a highlight line that light source is coming from. Run that through. And again, back up on top. A little bit of shadow side on the bar. That's just the process here. A little power switch, let's kind of change gears here. Power on off. Nice, easy, just very quick little concept sketches here. Again, a little bit of a thumb grip in here. Just going to go back and put a little more impact in this core line coming through here. Get that to run through into the handle graphic. Into this little sketching area here, we've got to put a little bit of an accent of weight around it. And just take that into that shape. Just let it kind of die into that form. Like we did in a little elevation study up on top there. Now let's get this down. A little more core at the base of this, and curl it back in. Pick up some of that reflection on the ground shadow. Back to side of pencil again. More guts up on top. Run that right into that little radius. Take that shape right through. Pick a little bit harder here. Just kind of reflect some of those tiles back in this shape. Now let's get the shadow in here. Hope this is on screen here. There we go. I'm going to turn this upside down for a moment. Get a bit more of that core line at the base of this thing. Tone it in. And then refine it just a bit. All right, let's get back in space here. How's that? Graphics in here. Let's take this through. A little bit of touch and go. Put that in there. Go, etc. There's a little bit of accent color in here. In here. That down. A little bolder in the shadow. That little file point coming out here. A little softer up on top. And a stronger shadow underneath that little spear that comes out of that form itself. And we'll just build this up just a bit. A little bit of reflected light underneath this guy. And just into this, a little bit of skylight into the sphere. Shadow underneath. Sharpen the stick up a little bit here. How we coming, guys? This reading? You guys still with me? Hopefully, it's making any sense here so far. It's a nice series of just gentle forms, just kind of developing some of the shapes, keeping them very simple and animated. And we can go from there. Put a little bit of shadow in here. Let's get a reflection of that shadow underneath here, and that's a sphere. That goes there. A little bit of shadow on this side. Kind of dab that thing out just a bit. Now, into this guy. And into this. Turn that just a bit here. What was that in there? All right, looking good, guys. a little bit of spiking in here. Turn this back up and make sure we can see it okay. Under orders to keep this a little bit more generic, which is fine. Sky up on top here, just give a little bit of color to this guy. And there she is. And there she is. There's phase one. What do you think, guys? Making sense? Oh yeah, yeah. It's just nice and easy. I think it's. I think that's the idea behind this, the rationale behind just doing pencil sketches. And when they get them, they can receive them and begin to adjust them, scan them, and do certain things with them, and that's fine. I mean, I don't want to get into a lot of elaborate rendering. I'd love to be able to do that. Maybe when we get some feedback on the one they select or the series that they selected, we'll come back in and do maybe a nice finished rendering. But I'm just under orders to make sure that it's very nice and generic, nothing really life-threatening, and we take it from there. So let me sign this guy here. So there's one. Let's get that guy out of the way. So there's that. There's a finishing couple right here. This is where we are. Let's make this really nice and generic and simple. This is where we were with the selection of last week. section number 2, this one up in the corner here, and then the revision cycle, putting in perspective, an elevation, and a little perspective study on what this thing is going to look like. Could be interesting. There's enough mass in here, I think, to take care of some of the components of the electrification, magnetism, whatever how they're going to power this thing, which I think is going to be unique too, because I think the conversation with them was they're looking at new energy sources that can kind of reduce the package size of their product line as time moves on. So that'll be really, really helpful, I think. So that's great. So there's number 1. We'll put these aside and separate these guys up and do this with it. There you go. Now, the second one was this. Number 14 was that scissor type piece that all the power unit was up on top here in that first series of sketches here. But I think what was interesting about this, maybe without opening it up, maybe that's part of it, but it needed more body in here based on the conversation we had before. This one was selected for that very reason, I think, and then elevation is a little bit on the weak side, so we had to kind of push it back a little bit and open it up a little bit, get some content behind it to make certain we've got some good interference in terms of putting the process together, all the features we're asking for, and all the elements that are well defined. So from that study, we went from there to here. This is the revision on that study. There it is right there. So we've noticed we tightened things down a little bit, opened up the body form, give it more content, and pushed a little bit more in the elevation in terms of getting that. There it is. There's one to the other. Quite a difference in terms of schematic. Now, these could either move open or slide back and forth. Goes back to your comment, Terrace, earlier on about maybe a slider system, a rotating head, some sort of drill head, and something that really does a nice job of making moving, being much more innovative in the product cycle itself. So this, I think the healthy part of this revision was to add more body in this form right here. Just a little bit too thin, asking an awful lot to put this into that could be a very large cylinder, so we don't go that route. And also, there's 2. Let's put this aside over here. Now let's go ahead and start to put some illustration behind this guy. Just give it, pardon me as I move around here a bit. Get these down to science. Let's pick up this guy first here. Let's go back, let's get this illustration up on top here. Let's go back and just pick this up. Nice and easy. A little bit of a core lining through here. Let me bring this back up. Sorry, there we go. Let's bring this back up. More white in this thing. Take this right down into the shape. Soften it off, it goes into that core area here. Put this little bit of relief in here. What that's doing. Up on top, very soft. Maybe a little bit of a reverse underneath this thing. A little bit of detail there. And let's go ahead and get this thing, the shadow, into the actual sphere itself. And then a little detail where the head is. Pick that up. And get a little bit of sky tone in this thing. Pick up a little bit of that shadow reflection underneath. And just keep it that nice and fluid. There she is right there. A little more sky tone in here. A bit of sky tone there, and on top of this guy here. It's just enough. So there we are. Get that guy squared away. Let's go back in a little bit of a little alert warning here. Let's put this in place. Let's put that in there just like a little compact here. A little on-off start. Let's go back in and get this bridge put away. Let's get that element back in there again. Show where that rotation side is. Right in through here. And again, I'm going to soft pencil underneath here to get a little more shadow, that reflection on the base of that guy, and let that marry right into this. And take that back. A little more hard accent line in here. Now, into this area. Nice soft shape. And let's get that area lined up here. And again, good hard edge here. Highlight, to highlight, to highlight. Let's keep all that in the light source here. Let's drop this down just a bit more. Very simple, hard edge here. Take that off the page, couple that up, and nestle that color line right in here. Now here, just a little tone, Let me turn this around just a bit here. Just to take me down the sidewall. Keep it nice and simple. Let's get that secondary radius in here. Run that through. And return it. A little bit of shadowing through here. And a little shadowing through here. Up on top. And there you go. There's the side view here. What do you think, gentlemen? Interesting. Just a nice, simple shape that gets a job done here. A little bit of a sky tone up on top of this thing here. So it doesn't look so bland. There we are. Now, perspective study. Again, tone in. Go to the shadow side here. Soften it. Soften it. Trying to make that dome read a little bit here. And turn this upside down. Get a good strong highlight line in through here. Oh, there we are, up on top here. There she is, nice and easy. And the silencer guys are just concentrating on getting this guy to line up here for us. A little bit of a warning light here. Put that in place. There she's. What do you think, guys? This one making sense for you? I just need your feedback here. Help me out as we go here, guys. Nice and simple, really easy. Let's go back and get these side pods in place. Turn this upside down again. Take this around the corner. Reflected light back here. And bring it back into a closer tone right in through here. And get this line to really sing for us here. Put a shadow side on this thing. Shadow side on this side. Shadow side underneath. And a little bit of tone up on top. Again, letting it dance just back from dark to light. All that's going to become a reflected light up on top there. There she is right here. So it's on here. Let's get this a little bit of definition. And again, another precautionary warning light of some sort. And just tone this back. Little chip connection there. There she is. What do you think, guys? There's power number 2. Making sense? There he is. And for your commentary here, I'm going to put a little bit of dusting material back on top of this. I'm going to go back in here just for a moment and reinforce one of these lines here. Let's make this a little stronger. And take that right into the body form here. Do that with it. Yeah, that helps. Outside, where that outrigger is going to fall in place. I mean, I think it can be a very let me do one last thing here. Let's get a little bit of brightness in this thing. A little bit of sky tone. Same thing here, a little bit more sky. And come back in with a little bit more definition here. And we'll start here off the sidewall. And more reflection underneath here. A little more punch. There she is. What do you think, guys? Dakota. I think I would too. I appreciate that. There's just something nice about being able to take this stuff. Notice where we were with that second sketch here. This is where we started. Now, again, I felt last week that even though it was selected, there was not enough body in this thing, guys, to make it function. But by adding that and bringing those in and collecting them, now they can still move. The idea is still to have them move. That'll be explained in the diagram we sent out there to the gang. They'll still move quite a bit, but I think the idea of getting this thing really condensed would be really kind of neat. Adding little features to it, like adding more of a dome, like a power dome area, and either a one-hand grip or open it up, or it could slide as well. So again, in Terrace and Dakota, your input throughout the whole process here has been absolutely marvelous. Cannot thank you enough. Really cool stuff. So there's one and one. Put those two together and get out of the way here, guys. Let me just do this. Put a little bit of tone down here. I'm going to take this thing and this the Weaver pad and push a little bit more tone in the ground surface here. Do that with it. Just a little bit more touch. Maybe a little bit of tone on the side here. Kind of soften that off just a bit. Here she is. I mean, just very simple sketches, but they do the job, I hope. If you guys approve, that's all that matters. Keep it nice and subtle. There's element number 2. Let's get rid of some of the wax coming off the top of this thing. And there she is. There's where we started. Here again. There's element number 2. Let me reverse these guys. There's element number 2, as is, and there's its facelift right about there. How's that, guys? I think it's a good improvement. I mean, this one's got some streamlining to it. I think it'd be very, very possible to deal with. So, nice. There she is. So that's element number 2. Let's put those aside here. And we'll move along here. Next one, the third one we did came from the Nautilus, I believe. And the Nautilus, here was the initial sketch. Initial sketch was that one. And there's something about that form that you all kind of seem to agree on. And we use that as a definition for the final sketch rendering here. Let me sharpen these sticks here before I get started. Make sure we're all ready to go. There it is. There's the red. I think we should be good. A bit of sky tone. Make sure that's sharpened up a little bit here. Pardon me for the delay. But there we are. But I think taking advantage of going back to that spherical piece, what was missing in the sketch was that this was still cylindrical, but I still think that spherical head, that maneuvering, adjustable maneuvering head that rotates either 90 degrees or 180 up, down, and then again, both east and west and north and south. So here we are. This is where we are. There's the actual line drawing, the revisions right there. Pretty close. Got a nice broad handle on that thing. And there she is. Let's just these all lined up. There's the actual thumbnail study. And we'll put them underneath there, one another. There we go. Take enough room. Just barely make it. Okay, anyway, that does it. That's it. Let's put this aside for a moment, and let's put a bit of rendering into this guy. Let's see what happens with this thing. Put that off to one side here. Come back in. Get this up. Oh, sorry about that. Let that spherical head to kind of move in there a little bit, give a little more shape to it. Pardon me as I move my hand around here. Get this thing straightened up just a bit. There she is. A bit of detail in here, and a little bit of detail there, and just a touch there. There she is. Let's take this down. Come up to where that core line is. Take that big bold step right through the process here. There she is. And again, shadow underneath here. Oh, sorry about that, guys. This back on the page here. Turn this upside down. A sky tone in here. Warm this up just a bit. Sharpen the stick a little bit here. And there's the elevation. What do you think, gentlemen? Coming along all right? I mean, I really appreciate you. Any input you have here, please feel free to fire away. I'm glad to hear it all the way through. No question whatsoever. Been fun to have you on board here. Neat stuff. All right, let's finish this guy off here. Let's get this body form in here first. Let's go with that shadow sun. Let's get the highlight up on top. Let's get this strong line through here. You beef that line weight up a bit. A little bit of on-off switch here. No, that's going to go black. There we go. Let's get this in place. Sorry about that. Oh, let's get back in place here. Oh, sorry about that. Keep it on playing here. And there you go, gang. There's phase number 2. What do you think? Oh, you're a fan of the color scheme. Which one? The red and gray. You got it. Interesting, isn't it? Pretty cool. Fun stuff here, guys. Hey, Menteris, you still with us? What do you think so far? So good. Sequencing coming along all right, guys? Very unique set of circumstances here, I think. Oh, I've got to do one thing here. Pardon me. Let's finish this off here. There we go. Let's go down the line here. So there she is. We get this cut line put in here. There we go. A few cut lines added. What do you think, gentlemen? Looking good. So far, it's good. How you coming there? Antares, any vote here, one way or the other? I'll just hang on here for a second before we wrap up the number 4 of the last study here to get this thing off the place. And just to put a more tone down into here and beef this up just a bit more. Take it underneath and get that shadow to work. All right, there she is. All right, wait for a vote here from Antares. How you coming there, Antares? You good with it? So far, so good? Hopefully. Pretty bold-looking stuff here, guys. So thanks for all your help. Let me do this while I'm waiting for a response from Antares. We're just going to brush in some ground reference here. And there she is. I'm just going to bluff that in. I might just leave them as is, that kind of raw here, and take it from there. So pretty good there, Antares. Are you all right? I hope you haven't left us here, Antares. You still with us? Huh. Lots of connection there at all. Anyway, there's number 3. There she is. There's where we started. That was last week's selection. There it is in terms of pencil study, just a concept drawing here in terms of getting that all squared away. And then on top of that, there was the actual final study here. Let me do one thing here before we wrap it all up. Let me just do a real quick little bit of line thrust here. Make sure we get that squared away. There it is. That helps. Get that back in through here just enough. There she is. So there's number 3. And we come back down the pike here. There's 3. And that's it. And the last one here we did was this guy right here. Interesting how this one came together. This is from the mantis. That was the actual pencil study we selected. I think the majority, any one of these could have worked. So we kind of selected one here in terms of maybe look with this guy. That became the final selection for the actual concept study, the final 4. So we put that all together here. There's that study. There's the actual pencil study. Then here's a converted piece into the actual form itself. So interesting how that all goes together. There's the actual concept. There's the actual initial sketch. Here's a revision. So let's put these together here. And we'll come back in here and wrap this thing up. And get them on their way. Let's put a little bit of tone in here. Oh, let me get this up in place here. Sphere to kind of run a little bit here for us. A little ground reflection. And a little bit of sky tone on top of the sky. And little warning lights here. And there's that. Let's get this guy all set up here. I think I'll switch gears here and put a little bit of color in this thing. How's that? And come back with a little bit of little accent around it. See if we get that up here. Get this up on the page. Here we are. There it is, in elevation. So far, so good. What do you think, Dakota? Hanging in there? That should be pretty. There's some pretty nice. I think a nice mixture of things coming along here with this whole process. So really going to be interesting to see what takes place here. Very cool. Let's do this. Let's get a look at these guys. A little bit of detail in this thing now. Get this up on the page here. Just sharpen the stick a little bit here. Hey, hello, Horse. How you doing? Good to have you on board here. We're just wrapping up some series on this power drill stuff. Good to have you on board. Where are you from? Horsefly. Where are you from? Glad you're tuning in here. And I think we had red in the center here. A little bit of green on the outboard sides. And let's get a little bit of this shadow in here on the sphere itself. Put a sky tone up on top here. A little more shadow in this reflection underneath that, and that chrome, that swivel head here. A little more definition in this guy. And this guy. And we'll come back in, sharpen the stick here. Hey! No, I'm not using reference for this. This is just a pure conceptual series of sketches here. I'm from India. Oh, good to have you on board. Yes, thank you so much. No, there's no reference at all. These are just conceptual sketches. We started with, for example, this has been an 8-week program, so we're just wrapping up some of these hand drill pieces. These are all conceptual sketches, and I'll review them in a moment here when we're all said and done. So let's get this definition in here. There we go. That's that guy. Get that center in place here. A little more bone line in through here. A little more highlight up on top. Tone this in. A little more reflection underneath here. Pick up a little bit of that shadow. And just tone this side in ever so slightly. Let me reverse this page here. And just put a little more of that in there. There you are. Now, let's get this guy in place. First of all, put a shadow in this thing. Take that on in. And let's get this in place. Let's rotate this guy. There you go. By the way, thanks, Horsefire. It's nice to have you on board here today. How did you find us, by the way? That's interesting. Let me turn this upside down. The more thrust in this guy here. A little reflected light. And we get this piece up on top here. A little more color in this thing here. And put up a couple little warning lights back here. And so far, so good. It's coming along nicely. Now, let's get this shape in. Got some bit of that ground shadow. Get this in place. And we reverse this a little bit. Get that piece to work. Carry this through. And carry that through a bit more. And a little more tone up on top here. Get those cut lines in place. And there it is. There's the fourth variation on theme here. That's a hell. Material ready now. Thank you very much. Good to have you on board here. Nice to have you on board. There's a hand drill system here. We have been working, as I said, Horsefire. We've been working on this thing for the last 8 weeks. This is kind of a culmination of the whole process of where we are. And let me go down the line here. This is the fourth variation. Let me just do this first. Get a bit of ground texture in here. Get this thing to sit down a little bit. And just going to scrub this in just a bit more tone up in there. There she is. So if you're still there, Dakota, what do you think? And Horst, what do you think? This is pretty good section 4 studies to work with here. Cantilevered over, handheld drill. This interesting piece of work here to deal with over the last few weeks. It's been really interesting how it all has come together. So there's the 4th variation. There's number 3, and let's get these out of the way here. Let's get this pad out of the way. We'll just kind of pull these off to one side here. Sorry for the movement. There's 4, and there's 3. 4 coming up. We just finished that one. That was the 4th presentation. That's 4. There's 3. Just wrap that one up. Variation on a theme. Here's 2. And there is 1. So there are the 4 final submissions we're taking to the corporation. Hopefully get some feedback on here. So again, a long journey here, folks. I'm really glad we had a chance to go through this whole process. And while I'm at it here, for those of you who are still tuned in, and by the way, Dakota or Antares, are you still with us? Hopefully. So I hope we've not missed you. If not, we'll try to make it up some other time here to give you some input on where we were here with this whole program. So with that thought in mind, let me ask you a question. Of the 4 variations, Dakota and horse fart, any favorite at all? Any favorite? There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. 4 variations. Hey, still here. How you doing, Venteris? You okay? Any commentary at all? Boy, I sure missed you over the last few seconds here, so I'm glad you're still with us. Let me just give you a second here to kind of regroup, and hopefully we'll get some feedback from you too as well, Antares. And the question is, if you had a preference here, guys, anything that we've done in this final 4 that you feel are acceptable as far as getting into the whole thing. Of course, I like the 3rd one. So there's 3. That's the vote right there. 3 is a winner so far from Horse Fart from India. So there's 3. Anybody else? Dakota, the first one. So there's that guy. You've got 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is there. 3 and 1. Pardon me. 3 and 1. Those 2 are so far the front contenders. Dakota, thank you for the input. Dakota, Antares, any comment at all? Kind of wrap it up here. It's just been very helpful with putting it all together here, guys. Very, very good. This has really been fun. So it's number 1, 1 individual. Number 3, 1. Okay, so 1 is 3, 1 and 3. Number 3. Oh, all right. There we are. Thanks, Antares. I hope you're doing okay. Did you lose connection a little bit there for a period of time or what? Wasn't quite sure where you were, so I'm glad you're still on board with us. So we've got a consensus of the 3rd one, the first one, and number 3. All right. Number 1 and 3. Those are the 2 that kind of fall in place here as far as the scheme goes. Let's kind of get them on the screen if we can here. Let's do this. There they are. So before we sign off here, guys, that's it. That's the lineup we're going to ship out here. All 4 are going to go. We'll just see what kind of feedback we get. Oh, let's move this over just a bit here. There we are. And there she goes. So that's really been a lot of fun. And to those of you who've been with me for the last 8 weeks, I really appreciate the fact that you stayed with it. Your input has been absolutely invaluable. It's absolutely tremendous. We'll send these guys out, see what kind of feedback we get, and hopefully we'll be in good shape to get things moving here. I don't know if we'll get feedback right away, but I'll keep you posted as to where the status is from where we are, and we can take it from there. And again, so grateful for the fact that for each week, Antares, Dakota, and you've been terrific as far as adding some input and getting some character down and giving me some input on what direction to take. And we started with an empathic sketch, went through a whole series of processing here. Horse fart for your information. This is the wrapping up of a long 8-week study. This is the final day for this, and I just want to make sure that we get this shipped out and keep you posted on the direction we get. And again, what we'll look at too for next week, I think it'll be enjoyable. I think I mentioned last week to some of you here that I had a commission come in from Corvettes of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I've been involved with that team for the last 12 years of my career, and I do a series of advanced Corvette illustration work to be sent out to be auctioned off at their private dinner, and all the proceeds go to the Amadeus Foundation for Chip Miller, his illness that he died from. So I get nothing from it. I donate all my time to that effort, and I think it's terrific. So stay tuned next week, hopefully. If we get have to think about the holiday, we might have to delay a week, but I'll keep you posted on Discord about where we are. I've been there. Oh, yeah, you and me both. Maybe sometime there, Horse Fart. We'll take a chance to go back through. Maybe next week and give you if you tune in next Wednesday. If it's, I'll let you know by Discord if we're going to be. The holiday might get in the way, but I'll try to do the best I can to recap some of the things we've gone through. In fact, if you'd like to, go back to my website, to drcontrast.com, and you'll see each one of those in sequence. So that'll give you some idea where we started and where we ended up. So I can't thank you enough for joining us here today. And to apologize for being all the way, but I'm fine. Oh, hey, I have no problem. I'm glad you're okay, and Terrace. I'm really glad you're okay. Not a problem at all. This channel also has the past 7 streams on it. Yep, you got it. So that's great. What do you mean that it will get shipped out? It's going to the manufacturer. This is an actual conceptual study we did for a program that I'm honor bound to keep quiet for the time being. One of my former students gave us a hypothetical project to deal with, so it's an actually a process we're looking for. The idea behind it was to do an innovative, interruptive hand drill that takes in the next generation. It interrupts the marketplace with a whole new series of concept work. And while I'm at it here, this whole idea of having a sphere up front, it's a rotating head. It changes direction depending on the need you have, and also it's got a packaging system, a new power source. All those things will be determined by the manufacturer that we're shipping these out to. Very good friend of mine is a design director. I've got a lot of confidence in him. He'll give us, I'm sure, some great input, and we'll keep you posted. Back to next week, if we're on board, it'll be a series of advanced Corvette sketches. I've got some pencil studies all ready to go, and we'll put that on the stream. And if the holiday gets away, we'll delay a week, and I'll let you know by Discord what the status is. So thank you, Antares, Horse Fart, and obviously Dakota for tuning in. Terrific to have you on board. And also programs coming up, Advanced Corvette. We're going to do a park study. We're going to get into some architectural, empathic architecture. Dakota, I'll keep you posted on that. This should be a lot of fun. Although this time we're going to use empathy in the 3rd dimension. So I'll show you that little trick here that I learned from one of the great, this is a drill? Yes, this is a drill. It's a hand drill. It's a horse fart. Yeah, it's a whole innovative breakthrough study. No, not a car. No, not an automobile. It's an actual hand drill. So, in fact, we're replacing this. Let me grab this guy here for a moment. I think we got it somewhere in here. Yeah, there it is. There is that's the actual piece we're modifying right there. We're going from that to some of these guys. And by the way, Milwaukee is not the manufacturer, so I can't give that away. That's just an idea. We're trying to get rid of all this and condense it into that. So there you are, Horseman. That's what it is. So far, so good. And again, I'll keep you posted on programs coming up. We've got a lot of great commission pieces coming in. Could be doing another series of things for Corvette. We'll let you know about that one, in addition to the actual commission I got from Corvettes of Carlisle, which I'm really grateful. I'm really honored to be a part of that process. We've raised a lot of money for that foundation, and it's just a great piece to be involved in. There we go. So all that to say, folks, to all of you, all three, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. Always good to have you on board. We'll keep you posted on what this comes to if we get some feedback. Also, I'll let you know, too, that once we're all set to go, I'll keep you posted on programs upcoming. If the holiday gets away, the 4th of July, and we'll have to delay a little bit, but on Discord, I'll put out an announcement one way or the other if we're going to be active next week. So to all of you, thank you so much. Great time had today. Outstanding program from your point of view. The input was terrific. Thankful very much for it all. Take a look at my horse fart. Take a look at my website, drcontrast.com is my website. Take a look at that. Any notes or messages you want to send me, my email address here in the office is 6 in the studio. It's jim@drcontrast.com. Looking forward to it. And again, all the very best. And Dakota, before I leave, I promise you I'll get some sketches done for your speed form study here. Hopefully try to get it done today and up before the end of the week. It's just an absolute thank you very much, Terrace. I mean, awesome work to you as well. Without your input and without Dakota's input, this would never come to pass. Great thing to have happen here. So I'm going to sign off here today, guys. We'll hopefully see you next week. If not, as I said, I'll keep you posted on Discord, and we'll go from there. All the very best. Hope you have a great week. And I always close the stream with this comment. No question whatsoever. Always remember to never, ever forget to dare to be great, because you are. All the very best, gang. We'll hopefully see you next Wednesday. If not, we'll keep you posted on Discord. All the best. We'll see you hopefully. Take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.